Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your big man back here for another figure review. Now, today we have the one, the only Diamond Select, Marvel Select Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, this, you may be thinking, what is this? How old is this figure? And to be honest with you, I'm not sure how old, but I can confirm it is old. I've been looking for this figure since it came out. I could literally never find it until today, and that's why I had, well, not until this day. And that's why I have to review it now. There's no way I can't. So, we'll start off by introducing this man. This figure is a Disney Store exclusive. Just mention that. I found it at some random comic store. There was a couple of them, so I'm guessing it's not Disney Store exclusive. Maybe Diamond Select re-released it, which it's not a bad figure to re-release because it is pretty good. Now, for the box, it's the usual Diamond Select. It's just the big window packaging with way too much plastic for the figure you're getting. You can imagine it, but I don't have it. They take up too much space, had to dump it. Can't take it. Now, for paint and sculpt on this guy, the paint is pretty decent. There are some parts of it where it gets a little iffy, like there's some scuffs. Some of the red and blue kind of mix bad. They don't really look the best together, like they didn't paint over well. Stuff's poking out. But I think for how old the figure is, it's not too bad. See some blue on the chest there. Ooh, ooh. And the head too, it's a little weird. The shape isn't very good, and the eyes are kind of rough. But for, again, it's not too bad. The figure is only around like $25. And for that price, it's not the worst. One of the better Spider-Man you can get for that price. So, articulation on this guy, it's not the best. It's nothing crazy bringing it up here to do it. He's a little bit tall, need to knee him down. So at the head here, there's just a ball joint, so he looks up that far. Looks down, all right. At the head here, he got a clean rotation around. And there's no pivot on this head because it's the ball joint is on, does not pivot. At the shoulders here, comes up a little bit below 90, not the best. There's a rotation there. There's also a bicep swivel, very tight. A nice double jointed elbow. I think this was one of the first times Diamond Select ever did double jointed elbows, which is a momentous occasion because now it's almost on every one of their figures. And at the wrist here, there's a swivel, and then there's an up and down hinge built in on the hand. At the chest, there's a diaphragm joint here. It's just pretty terrible. It can go forward. Let me move this arm. It goes forward just a little bit, and back also just a little bit. And then there is a little bit of side to side, not a lot. And this is probably the worst point of the figure, is the ab joints really don't exist. And for a Spider-Man, you really want good abs so you can get him in those crawling poses or flying, anything. This guy, the articulation does not go good with that. So at the leg here, he has T joints, so the leg can go out to the side very far. And it can go forward very far, but you have to move it and then use the upper thigh swivel to switch it forward, which it gets very good articulation with it. It's just kind of annoying. So it goes forward that far. Back, not too bad. Out that far. There's, of course, the swivel at the hip up here. There's a double jointed knee, which works very well. There's a swivel at the calf right here. Just very tight. This side works a lot better. Then at the ankle here, there's a forward, back, and then, of course, it's got ankle pivot, which is, I think, one of the first times Diamond Select did that, too. So, if you think about it historically, this figure is pretty good for the Diamond Select history. Is when they finally started kicking up articulation, but kept their sculpt. Now, other than all that, the articulation is pretty decent on this guy. The joints at the hips and the abs over there really make it terrible. But other than that, everything else is pretty terrific. So moving in for some accessories, getting this man out of the way, we'll go with his first interchangeable head, which is the unmasked Peter Parker head. It looks pretty good, not the worst, but not the best. The likeness, it's not really there. It works as more of a just generic man head. The hair looks good, the paint is nice, the sculpt is decent. Just that's the one problem, is the likeness. But one of the better unmasked Peter Parker heads, to this day even. Now for interchangeable hands, he comes with this one with a hole, some gripping hands. He comes with one of these for each hand, or each side. Comes with the iconic thwipping hand. And I like how all the webbing and all of his stuff on his costume and on the hands and everything, it's all raised in relief, I guess you'd say. It's all indented in. Let me get to that light. You can see it nice and better there. All the webs are actually in, so you can feel it. They're all sculpted in. They're not paint like Marvel Legends does a lot. But it looks really good, and it makes it feel better, too. It feels like it's, I guess you say, more sculpted. And then, of course, every figure needs to come with a fist. So he comes with a pair of fists for each hand, or each side. It keeps saying hand by accident. But they look very good, and all these hands are really easy to switch in and out. Got his hand here, pull it right out. Got the fist. You can just plug it right in, it's easy. And all the interchangeable hands have the same exact articulation. The only problem with the interchangeable parts is, let me rip his head off here. We got no head. Trying to get this head on is awful. Oh. And it didn't even go on. So that's the only problem I've had, is his Peter Parker head does not go on at all. I can't even get it on all the way. And I'm wrestling it on, it doesn't work. He even lost a hand in the process. I don't even know what happened to it. But that's the one problem with that interchangeable head. It just does not go on for the life of me. And I'm a pretty strong guy. I mean, they don't call me Ryan Ford Strongman for nothing, but it's not easy to switch these parts out. So now, throwing his head back on and putting him back here, we're going to get some comparisons going. Oof, he is not standing up good at all. So starting off with some more Marvel Select figures, we'll bring in the Venom and Carnage that go along with Spidey over here. Now, I think they scale pretty well, except for Carnage. Carnage is just way too big in this line. But other than that, I think these guys scale good and they all look good together, because they all have the high detailed sculpt and the nice paint, and it molds very nicely. Definitely out of the three, I think the Spider-Man is the worst. The articulation is actually even better on these two other figures. I'm not sure which order they came out, but the Venom and Carnage are much better than this Spider-Man. I 100% recommend those. You know what? With this Spider-Man. Alright, moving these guys out of the way. Now we can do another Marvel Select, the Anti-Venom. And we'll do another Spider-Man villain. We've got Marvel Legends Green Goblin. I think this Spider-Man fits as just like a Spider-Man in a display. I definitely don't think he would fit as like, you're the Spider-Man. I don't think this one would work. You could have him as like a alternate universe Spider-Man, or like a Spider-Man you have just getting beat on or something. I think this Spider-Man would fit very well for that. Gotta move these guys out of the way. And comparing him to some other Spider-Mans, we got a Revoltech Spider-Man here. And then totally fake Mayfix Spider-Man. Now, yeah, you can see the scale definitely comes in here. He's huge compared to all the other ones. And I think this is one of the only Spider-Man that did the more brighter blue with the red. Because even the Revoltech, the Mayfix, the Marvel Legends one, they all have the darker blue. And I prefer the lighter blue. I feel like that's a better look. But this is the only one that's done it, so we really don't have a good figure of that to this day. To this day. Somebody tell Figuarts, or like Mayfax or something, to make a classic McFarlane blue Spider-Man. Now, for the last comparison here, just another Marvel Select. We have the Marvel Select Taskmaster. These two have been seen before, and this is also, the next review is going to be of the Marvel Select Taskmaster. I'm hyped. You might be hyped. I don't know. If you're hyped, tell me. Let me know if you're hyped. But I'm hyped. And these two, they look pretty good together. I think the Marvel Select, the whole line definitely has a specific look to it. And they definitely all fit together nicely. And these two definitely look good together. It's like they're straight off the comic page. All right, let me get this guy out the way. Put some final thoughts on this man. So, Bring them in. You know what? Bring them in. I will say, this is not a bad figure. For the price and the amount of accessories you get, I actually forgot 2 accessories. 2 extra, bonus accessories. He also comes with this camera, which the strap out of box, all warped. You gotta probably heat it up and maneuver it back to normal. But I really do like the camera. Let me get so you can see all the detail on there. There is all the buttons, the knobs, everything. There's not a lot of nice detail. And the paint that's on there is actually really nice. And surprised I completely forgot. Oh, knocked like 15 things over, but completely forgot that he also comes with the kind of taken off mask. And that's what goes along with these gripping hands so that he can hold the mask like he just took it off. Actually, a really cool accessory. And I'm glad I remembered, because if I didn't remember, that would have sucked. Would have had to put it in the description, and nobody even sees that, so it wouldn't have made any sense. But bring him back. Pretty good figure. Definitely worth the money. If you can find it for retail, definitely worth it. I don't even think he's he's that much on eBay or anything. Definitely an easy to get figure, and I would 100% recommend if you're looking for a Spider-Man. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a little bit of a crazy video here. Killed a couple of figures at the end. But thank you, and I'll see you next time when we review the Taskmaster. I'm hyped. Thank you guys. See you later.